So welcome everyone. I'm Ivy Rivera, psychic medium. I'm a tiny Noarawak, and I own a school called the Ivy Rivera Psychic Academy. Today, we are doing a free mini class as part of the quarantine series called Dreams, Symbols, and Deja Vus. And so I want to talk to you guys about the 3 different kinds of dreams. I break this all down more in depth at our Dreams class, which is up on the website for sale. It's 2 hours. Some of the things that I talk about in this class are the 3 different kinds of dreams. They are subconscious, visit, and prophetic. Let's break down these 3 different categories of dreams: subconscious, visit, and prophetic. Well, subconscious dreaming is really your own attempt. It's your brain's attempt at bringing into focus or coming to some type of a conclusion about a dilemma you're facing. This will increase. These types of dreams will become really common when you're going through a major change in your life. You're having some type of a problem that's affecting you mentally and emotionally, possibly even a physical issue. Your brain wants to solve the problem. And we don't give a lot of time in our waking hours. Our daytime hours are spent left brain, logical thinking, and working. And because of that, we don't spend enough time on the right side of our brain, which is our intuitive side. It's where we problem solve creatively. It's where we're in the flow and we find closure and healing and we piece things together because we really have been trained by society never to go there. What happens is that your dreams get backed up with this problem solving process of subconscious dreaming. So you have a problem with your boss at work, you have a health condition going on, you have a problem with your child, there's a problem in your marriage, whatever. You're going to spit these types of dreams out over and over and over again, trying to figure out a solution. But because most people wake up and don't remember their dreams, it can be that you never reach that point, okay? So it's really, really important that we're all keeping a dream journal all the time so you can decipher, okay, what kind of dream did I have and what was it telling me? How is it useful? We need to remember that our dreams are a roadmap for our lives. They're not only helping you to process what's unfinished, they're also helping you to understand what steps to take next and where you should be going. A practice I got my children into was driving to school every morning, and we would all analyze our dreams in the car. It's the native way to get together and to talk as a tribe about the dreams that everyone in the group had. Because your dreams aren't only helping you, they're helping those in your circle. Or they could be about the world and events that are occurring. Things that are going on right now, starting from 9/11 to the pandemic to these riots, I saw all of this coming in my dreams over the years. I've been collecting this data, so I know what's coming next and I'm prepared for the next step all the time. Keep a journal. You could also have some very odd subconscious dreams from what you ate. So don't assume that if they don't fit into the other 2 categories, it's something you have to figure out. It could just be that you are processing some weird Chinese food or something. Noodles can cause a lot of very strange dreams. Spices can cause a lot of weird dreams. But sometimes your subconscious dreaming is tapping into a past life. It's not uncommon for you to dream that you're watching a scene. And maybe you don't even realize that the person's body you're watching from is you, but in a previous life. Sometimes you look down and your skin is very white when you're actually a brown person, or you look down and you have man hands, and you're a lady in this life. It can be very odd, and then you dismiss it and you think, well, that was random. I must have been watching some scene that somebody else lived through, or I was just watching something I must have seen in a movie. No, that could have actually been you. Now, when we're having these dreams that are tapping into our previous lives, it is because the place that you have currently found yourself in this current life, is a place where you need to access who you were, the skills that you had, or you have unresolved issues from that life. and they are now playing out in your current situation. Now, we can also have visit dreams. This is going to be a favorite, for a lot of you. What goes on in a visit dream? Well, your deceased loved ones can come and spend real time with you. How do you know it's a real visit dream versus a subconscious dream that you just want? You don't have closure over someone's death. You desperately want to spend time with them. Did I create this dream or was this a real visit? How do you know? Their mouths don't move. And when it's an actual encounter, they communicate telepathically because all of us at an energetic, truthful level are just spirits and energy that communicate telepathically. We don't need words and language. Visit dreams will occur when you're working really closely with your guides at night. And so one of the things that can happen is that you wake up tired. You were working all night long. You can maybe feel like you were busy doing the same thing over and over and over again, but you can't really remember what. That would also fit into this category. Visit dreams with your deceased loved ones or your pets also tend to go very quickly. So when people have these long drawn out dreams, they tell me how much time they spent with their spouse or their mother who came to visit them and all the things that they did and what they were talking about. I'm like, you don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but that just wasn't it. It's very quick, actually. Now, you can also have, here's the third category, prophetic dreaming. Prophecy, prophets. Well, these are dreams where you see, like I saw 9/11, I saw the pandemic, I saw, these riots, I've seen all the pieces in between, but this was all activated right around 9/11. It's all part of something also written in the stars astrologically. It's part of the Hopi prophecies. We are able through prophecy, and we all do it at different times. This isn't a special gift. We all do it. We're able to see what is going to happen. But so many of these things are disturbing, and the average person would prefer to block it and wipe it out of their memory. But when it starts to happen in real time, these riots now, people are saying, oh my God, I feel like I'm having a deja vu. I feel like I knew this. Yeah, you knew it. We all knew it. How could we not know it? Even common sense would have told us it was coming. As a Hispanic, it was obvious to me anyways. I mean, it had to come to this point, but we all knew. We are all prophets and see things psychically before they happen, big and small. So what is going on with the visions that you have in terms of usefulness? Well, again, keep a journal. Start testing yourself. How accurate is what you saw in terms of timeline and detail? What should you be doing with this information? I would highly recommend the Psychic Mediumship Development class. Come in here and learn ethical code, how to deliver messages, what's important versus what is just random, what's it all for. Those are the three different kinds of dreams. Now, we also have, one of the things we talk about at dreams class is also lucid dreaming, astral travel, nightmares, blocked dreaming. What if you're the kind of person that says, I don't dream, or I can't remember my dreams? Well, there was trauma there. I break that down in the dreams class. We have to figure out where your trauma came from. Astral travel, traveling to other dimensions. Is it possible? Absolutely. It also causes sleep apnea and sleep paralysis. So you may be doing this involuntarily. That's where you're getting sucked into a tube or a tunnel or a hole, and you can't sort of get back in your body very easily. Lucid dreaming, the concept of controlling your dreams, whether it's flying or it's confronting a fear. Lucid dreaming has become so important, especially in my psychic mediumship students, in their everyday lives, because the more intuitive you get, the more overwhelming your sleep state can get. And it's often affected between 3 and 5:30 in the morning. That's the haunting hour. We have to use lucid dreaming techniques to get control, to make sure that our dream state is a positive one. We're using it for rest and healing. It is your sacred time. So lucid dreaming techniques are huge, okay? Hope you guys join me for the dreams class. Again, you can get the video download to learn more about those. Let's talk about symbology. I want to get through symbols, and I want to talk about deja vus and then start taking your questions. So what are symbols all about? Well, ancient archetype and we look at psychology. Carl Jung talked about it a lot. We look at Chinese symbology, native symbology, numerology, tarot, astrology. I mean, we can go in a million different directions with symbols. What is the common theme? Well, they are all messages. So every symbol you receive, whether it pops in your head randomly while you're driving around or you're dreaming and you've collected a bunch of these weird symbols, they're all part of a messaging symbol. The language needs to be learned by everyone. We've gotten out of touch with our roots. One of the easy ways to look up symbols accurately, this book, it's called The Dreamer's Dictionary. It was written by Lady Stern Robinson and Tom Corbett. And it is a psychic and a psychiatrist who got together and took the symbols and made a very accurate database that still really stands. Some of it is old, obviously. So I use this in conjunction with Dream Moods on Google. You can get the app or A to Z Dream Dictionary on Google for some more modern interpretations, but I would always go back to this first. So this is what's interesting about symbology. It's very simple. So when I start training my students in psychic mediumship, it takes 2 days, but we have symbol class, which is 4 hours of going over symbols. But all the symbols that come up as psychics and as mediums are identical to the ones that come up in your dream state. And they're identical. They're recycled to anything that you have brought over into this life with you from previous lives. So your symbol base is unique to your story. Your higher mind, the accumulation of all the people that you ever were, all the lives that you ever lived, that inner knowing, that symbol base says so much about who you are. If you have numbers following you all the time, you're a numerology person. If you're drawn to tarot, you're a tarot symbology person. You use this in a previous life. Astrology, some people just know the planets. They know what they're doing and when they're moving. Well, there you go. I see things sometimes in colors. Well, I know that all those colors mean something else. A lot of people who have symbology in their dreams are able to combine what would seem like a real life dream, a prophetic dream, a vision dream, with symbology, almost in a cartoony way sometimes, or in what would seem almost like a fictional storytelling kind of a way. And that's okay. Those are still prophetic. I also wanted to say about prophetic dreaming, vision dreaming. It was a vision dream and will probably at some point be a deja vu because it never leaves you. It is so intense. Usually when you wake up from a dream, it's pulled out. These don't go. They will stay with you the rest of your life and you can tap in and get more information from them at any time. With symbols, we want to think of them as a hidden language, and I want to give an example of how to analyze a dream when there's a lot of symbology. Say you have a dream about a house. You dream that you're in the basement of a house, and there are a bunch of other people there that you know, and everyone's trying to do something, but they're not successfully completing the task. And you feel like you want to get out of the basement and you're drained by the situation. Okay, well, let's break this down. You want to always look at the location. Where was I in this dream? Well, you were in a house, and you want to ask the symbology of this house. A house represents you, your life. The attic of a house would be your mentality. The bedroom would be your sexuality, but that's also a place where you go to deal with subconscious things and healing. That's where you sleep. The bathroom would be about the cleansing process. The kitchen represents how you're nourishing your soul, your body. Okay, that's where you prepare food. I could go on and on. But this dream that we're using as an example here, you were in the basement. Well, the basement is skeletons in the closet. It's stuff swept under the carpet. It's unfinished business. Everyone that was in that dream with you is somebody you have unfinished business with. Or you guys are all trying to solve the same problem and bring closure to something. Level up. The fact that nobody's accomplishing it, right, sort of speaks for itself, hence the dream. The way that you want to get out and stop dealing with it is probably that subconscious part of you during the day that is stressed out by it. You just want to have to not think about it anymore. So really this could have seemed to you originally like a very odd dream. Why was I in a basement? with my ex and my mom and my boss. Well, I was in a basement with these people. It explains itself very easily when you break it down one thing at a time. All right, I want to talk about deja vus. A lot of theories on deja vus. Do I believe that they're time travel? That's the most common question that I get. In a way, absolutely. We can be living in multiple spaces and dimensions all at once, and we do. I do anyways, okay? Is it an ability for you to sort of go back in time? It's not just even that. It's an ability to go forward and backward and connect things. You can have a vision when you're 5 years old and have it play out as a deja vu when you're 40 years old and tap right back into it like it was happening in real time. Is that time travel? You could say that it is. Yeah. Are you going to other dimensions with these? I guess you could say that that's connected to the time travel idea. Yeah, because what are other dimensions really? They're not places, they're mindsets. It's mentality. What I want to say about deja vus is this. I've never had one that wasn't super important to my life contract. Your life contract is what you signed on to do before you came to Earth. We are all being pushed by the universe, our deceased ancestors, our guides, to abide by the life contract that we signed. Everything within your life contract is on a deadline. If you don't know what's in your life contract, book a life contract reading with me. If you don't know why you came to Earth or what you're doing with your life, book a life contract reading. Deja vus are important key points. I call them pivotal points that let you know whether you're on track, on path, within your life contract or not. These are opportunities for you to be in alignment or be really off base. And it could be about anything. It could be about a location that you're entering into, which would represent an important period of your life. It could be about a relationship, somebody that you're meeting up with that will be a key marker in your life. You have some kind of a work contract with this person. Maybe it's soulmate. Wow. Maybe it's karmic debt. Oh, we don't know. Okay. So we want to analyze those details. Deja vus are never, ever, ever to be ignored. Okay. They are either really telling you, yes, 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 pay attention to this, or they're telling you, no, 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 pay attention to this. What questions or comments do we have on it?
Yeah, we have a few comments, and we did get a dream that will be a good one to interpret. Mm-hmm. Amy posted that she bought the book after you did guides, or she downloaded guides class and bought the book, and she checks it all the time.
Oh, good. So what Amy's talking about is Meet Your Guides class, where I introduce you to each one of your guides that are appointed to you. And that's so important. Amy, thank you for explaining that to everybody, because your guides will speak to you in symbols. Your guides will speak to you about the direction and choices you should be making in your life, especially with relationships and your work. And they will catch you at times when you're going to hear them best. And often that's when you're sleeping. And so they're going to have to use symbols. And this book will break down what they're trying to say to you. That's huge. Good.
And she said that her dreams have been out of control lately, and then asked, how can you tell if the dream is subconscious or prophetic, especially if it doesn't relate to what you perceive to be a problem in your waking life?
Sounds like she has something very specific she's talking about. She wants to know, how do you know if it's prophetic or subconscious?
Yes.
Okay. Well, prophetic dreams, aka vision dreams, are incredibly, incredibly intense. And you cannot shake them out of your memory. And they often turn into deja vus. So you would be able to tap back into a vision dream that you just can't seem to shake at any point. Now, this is a technique I use with my students. I will train them to examine a vision dream and to go get more information, ask questions of it, use the symbology. There's so much depth there that we just toss to the wayside thinking that was a weird dream, that was super intense. There's a reason for that. A subconscious dream, on the other hand, the only time those really stick with you in a really intense way is when they're becoming overwhelming and you're struggling to reach a conclusion. And that would be an area where we really want to do a dream analysis for you. And we want to figure out what the root issue is, when it started, and what the healing to the problem is going to be and help you create a roadmap. But it's not going to feel at all like a vision dream. They're really very, very different.
We had a comment from J.C. Crowder.
Okay.
Who says that several years ago, I had a dream of a coworker being murdered the same night she was actually murdered. Mm-hmm. It was very weird, nothing like it before or since. It was freaky. I thought maybe she was trying to reach out to someone for help or something. I didn't even know her that well.
Well, it's called messenger of death syndrome, and it's something that a small portion of psychics have. Now, everyone is a psychic. Everyone is a medium. That's a given. But when I'm talking about it in this way, I think it is important to look at how it's sort of rare, even among those that are more psychic than others. So what this means is that you have a lot of untapped potential. And a lot of people who have messenger of death syndrome end up battling some mental illnesses and depression and anxieties. So you're going to want to be careful with that. Sometimes they lean more toward drug and alcohol abuse issues, escapist tendencies. You're going to want to be careful with that. And what really happens too is that there's a survivor's guilt element here. And so a lot of people push toward extreme religiosity. Don't go there either. There's just a good, healthy way to be balanced with this gift, okay? So that is one area, and I don't like the word gift in any of this, but that is one area where I would say it is sort of a gift, because it is a very small percentage of psychics that have it. And what happens is that you have to understand that the more you feed it, the more you're going to get, okay? Just even you acknowledging it today probably means that there's going to be more. You're kind of opening up Pandora's box, and you're embracing it. What you feed, what you embrace, you get more of, but people don't like it. Okay, what it can lead to, what it can mean for you eventually is that as your intuitive abilities increase, and we have to remember that intuitive intuition never decreases. It never goes in reverse. Whether you like it or not, whether you block it or not, it cannot go in reverse. Whether you medicate it or not, it doesn't work that way. So as it increases, what you should be mindful of is that you will probably start to have a lot of paranoid thinking and feel a lot of like, oh my God, the other shoe's going to drop. You know, something's coming, and you're accurate in that, even though you don't know what it means. It can happen when the guy next to you is stopped at the red light, and you're picking up on something from his life or, you know, his vehicle. It can happen when you drive through certain areas where something tragic occurred, like a horrible car accident. You know, it can happen when someone is about to text you or send you a message on Messenger or post something, and something bad's going to happen to them. It is essentially the ability to see disaster coming or death, and not typical to see that most people who have it don't know what to do with that information. So we train in the psychic mediumship course here, that portion of my children, everybody gets trained the same, okay? So all the students get trained the same, but those that have it would have to be more watchful about following an ethical code of conduct, because those psychics might not know the difference between, I think that's why children just popped into my head. Sometimes they run at the mouth a little too much, and their messaging can be very negative. And it's like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff you're not supposed to say, okay, when you have messenger of death syndrome. So you would only want to deliver those if it is for preventative or healing purposes. But it's okay. You know, we have to embrace it and say, it's okay that I have this. It is of use, and I'm not going to be overwhelmed by it. I'm going to control it.
Jamie Lynn is asking, how can we tell the difference between working in our dreams versus the deceased bombarding us to send messages through us? Should I be setting boundaries or keep doing the work in the dream?
No, you can't work all night long. There's no point. You're just going to get burnt out, and you're probably not that accurate in it, and you're going to get a lot of spirits that want to deliver messages to people you're not going to feel comfortable delivering to, unless you're going to pull a Long Island medium and be going up to people on the streets. You know, they'll just bombard you all night long. They'll bombard you all day long too. So what I would recommend is the empathic awareness training, which will help you to use the tools in boundary setting and shutting off. Okay, so I tell people all the time, they're like, you know, they walk by me and they go, oh, what'd you get off of me? What'd you get from me? Nothing, because you didn't pay me. We're not sitting here, you know, collectively. This wasn't scheduled, and I'm not on right now. Half the time I'm lying, but still, you're either on or you're off. And any reader out there who says, well, I can't turn it off, that is not true. Okay. God didn't plop you on earth with no skill to turn off. So don't ever believe when people tell you that. You can control it, but it is not an instantaneous type of a thing. You have to work at it. You have to create a pattern, just like creating any healthy habit in your life. And you have to think of how long you didn't turn it off. Okay, so for as long as you were feeding the problem, essentially, now you're going to have to counteract that by cutting it off. And nighttime is the time to cut it off. Now, if you are the type of light worker that works for angels, we have Coffee with Your Angels class that'll help you, and works for guides, we have Meet Your Guides class that will help you. If you are here to do this work, you're a light worker, then you're going to work with them when it's important to do so, but you will also have some rest time. But yes, boundaries with the deceased. Absolutely. And we have to remember that the deceased are not just spirits that are in the light. A lot of them are earthbound. A lot of them are toxic. You can't have this around you all the time, especially from 3 to 5:30 in the morning block.
Tristan asks, do you believe it's possible to change the past?
No. No, you can't change the past, but what you can do is alter the effect that it's going to have on your future by learning the lessons and completing the tasks and the contracts that you were meant to complete. So the only way to really change the past is to complete what you were supposed to, so that you become more and more and more evolved, which helps you to detach from it until it's so far in your rear view mirror that it really doesn't come up anymore.
Gina asks, how do you set those boundaries and turn yourself off?
Well, we have Hauntings, Clearings, and Detachments class that can help you with that. We have Meet Your Guides class that can help you. Coffee with Your Angels class that can help you. The Psychic Mediumship Training course that can help you. But it's not that easy to just turn off. Like, I would highly recommend the full course to you, because when you're intuitive, you're getting information from atmospheres, objects, spirits, the living, your empathic ability. It's coming from so many different angles. You have to learn to turn this off and this off and this off and this off and this off. And then you have to learn the tools to apply to keep it going in a healthy, positive direction for yourself. It's not something I could just sort of spit out all, here. It's complex, but you need to get educated and you need to apply it, and you need to be diligent about applying the tools that we teach at the Academy.
Alicia says, what's a good way to remember dreams? When I wake up, I know I had a dream, but I can never remember them.
Well, and for the people who keep asking, how do I block? Again, the dreams class. Check out the dreams class that is up online. It's 2 hours. It's a downloadable video. This is part of the psychic mediumship curriculum. So you guys could just sort of jump in and jump out. You don't have to take the full curriculum, She's talking about, what was it? How to remember, because she loses them when she wakes up. Well, one of the key things that you could do is to not move. People's biggest mistake when they wake up is thinking, whoa, that dream was amazing. I'm totally going to remember that. I won't forget that. The second you roll over, it is so far gone, you don't have a prayer of recouping it. And that's just from rolling over. Think of like how far gone it is if you take a drink of water, you get up to go to the bathroom or something. It's shocking how quickly a dream can be lost when you were so in it and so positive, that you were going to hold on to it. So here's what I recommend at the dreams class. That you keep a notepad and a pen right next to you in bed, and you try not to roll over. You try to just reach for it, and you write down the major symbology that was in it, so that the next day you can go back. And then we talk about like 3 or 4 other techniques to access not only your basic dreams, but also how to access the more difficult dreams. Like when you're working for angels, those dreams are incredibly elusive, very hard to tap back into and delve into. And when you're working with guides, those can be a little bit more elusive and difficult. So yeah, there are a lot of things that you could do. But nobody really talks about it. People don't think about it that much, and we just sort of go, oh, well, it's gone. But if it was intense, you really should have held on to that information. Yeah. Did we have some to analyze?
Yeah, we have one
okay.
From Gina. Her dream is, I had a dream of a white male in a blue suit speaking what seemed to be from the Bible, but all of a sudden he grabbed my ears and his eyes changed black and his teeth were rotten, fought him off, and then woke up.
Okay, so I didn't think I was going to get so much symbology in that one. I was like, I should have written that down. My memory...
I have it here.
Not so much. Okay, hold on. White male, black eyes, speaking Bible, right?
Blue suit.
Blue suit. What else?
I grabbed her ears.
Didn't he have nasty teeth?
Yep, teeth were rotten.
Did she say that before grabbed her ears?
Nope, grabbed her ears, eyes changed, teeth rotten.
Teeth rotten. Okay. Let's break this down. One of the things, it's asking a lot. When you wake up in the middle of the night, you know, you have to pee, you can't find your pen, you're trying to type it into your phone, whatever it is. I understand that this part gets really difficult, but if you could put your symbology in order, and if you could, when you track your dreams, write down the atmosphere. So it's like, where was I? You know, like, where were you dealing with this guy? And you want to also write down anyone else who was there. So it's atmosphere, it's who, what you're going to take with you, and you don't have to work at this part at all, is the emotion of it, the feeling of it. Okay, so you can even have a horrible dream. You know, you could have dreams that you're actually chopping up bodies and putting them in the trunk of the car, and you know, there's murder and death and gore, and it's actually positive. Okay, so you have to remember that the feeling actually dictates a lot of the dream. This situation we're going to look at in order to show you how to do this. Well, we have a white male. So the white male is probably representing someone in a position of authority, right? There is no greater authority than the white man. Okay. You could also say that that is typically a symbol of corruption, or someone who uses their power to, you know, dictate to others, and it could be menacing in some way. In your head, that's what white men represent. Speaking of the Bible, this would represent this individual's way of preaching or manspeak or authority or trying to instill fear, or trying to make himself look as though he is of God and is there with good, pure intentions. The blue suit, okay, the blue suit actually, in our symbol base here at the Academy, I teach my students, the suit is the highest prosperity position or a position of power. So whether it's on a female or a male, the suit, the top at least, okay, is going to represent that position of authority. So there you go. You have a double symbol here. You have the white man in a suit, okay? So this person in your life at that time was a very powerful figure. This is representing someone you were dealing with at that time. Blue is also a power symbol, okay? So is red, but blue is more about taking power or self-empowerment. So this individual may have been trying to take your power and become more self-empowered because that suit was blue. The fact that he grabbed your ears means that the relationship between you and this person at that time, he was trying to force you to listen to him. He was trying to bend your ear because you apparently were unwilling. You weren't buying what he was selling. You weren't picking up what he was laying down. And so he had to grab you by the ears and try to force you. At that point, you saw his eyes turn black, which is symbolic of demonic energy, lower negative energy in the universe. I just did a class on hauntings, and we talked about people that are possessed. This is one thing that you'll see with them, is that their eyes sort of glaze over. They don't necessarily turn black, but it would feel very much the same. And the black eyes are void of humanity. Okay, and the fact that his teeth got rotten represents that he was speaking falsehood. It's sort of like thinking that you're looking at beautiful fruit and then you realize there are worms in it or it's rotten in some way. Okay, so whatever he was telling you was false. It sounds to me like you uncovered something. It sounds to me like you busted this guy in your life, or you weren't sure if he was being truthful, but you were very on guard and he was trying to convince you in some way during that time. I love dream analysis. We could go on about the atmosphere and all the other things, but you understand, you know, if you could give everybody a little feedback on how that fits, that'd be great. Do we have another one to analyze?
Yep.
Okay.
Amy has a dream from years ago, still remember vividly.
Yep.
I was standing in a carved stone pool surrounded by Cambodian monks. I went underwater, almost like a baptism, and I saw the light shining down and heard the voice of God. I don't remember the message, though. But I did hear someone say, "You're ready," as I came back to the surface.
Okay. So again, we have a dream that could feel like a vision dream or a subconscious dream. And it was also tapping into a past life. So around the time of this dream, you would have a past life that either has unfinished business or you need to tap into who you were in that life. Okay, clearly you were a Cambodian monk, or you worked with them in some way, or they baptized you when you were somewhat within that order. And you would want to do some research. One of the great things is that we will often get pulled to take a trip. I want to take a vacation. I want to go to Cambodia. And your friend's like, I don't want to go to Cambodia. I want to go to the Bahamas, you know, you're like, you're a drag. And you're like, no, I must go. Okay. Sometimes we want to go somewhere that's a little off the, traveled path here. And it's because at that point in your life, you have some past life influence coming in. And this can really help you to tap into who you were and what you're supposed to do with that information. And that's what you were doing at that time. The fact that you were baptized in the light of like God, you could say, the healing light of the universe and wisdom came into you is symbolic of you probably at the time going through a kundalini or an awakening. And you would have leveled up a lot with your intuitive abilities, and you would have become more of a light worker than what you were before. That's huge. Huge. All right.
Gina and Alicia said thank you for answering the questions. And Miss Gina said, oh my God, helped so much. Thank you with the dream analysis.
Good.
That's very awesome.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul.
You're very welcome.
Thanks.